Hello, hello, hello! Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Praise be. Is there still a problem with quick battles? Not if you download the 1.8.2 beta patch. Hey, got Hydro Franz in the house. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys. Got some more tournament action coming your way today. And so, just getting the bracket straightened out. It's a little bit of a wild day today, a little bit hectic because of the holiday. Didn't quite get all the competitors lined up as soon as I needed to, so we're still kind of scrambling today to get the final slot filled. But feels a little bit bad. Turn's also going to be streaming his ECL qualifier for this upcoming season. It's currently ongoing on Challenge. I'm sure some of you guys have been checking in on that. But, yeah, quite a few players advancing through. And because that kind of popped up on the same day, and because of the holidays and everything, we're in a little bit of a scramble today, so bear with me, guys. We should be able to get through everything just fine. Alright. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just waiting on some contenders to join here. Yes, welcome. Just about finished with the year. I've got some fun stuff planned upcoming for the new year. I've got a nice celebration video planned for the 31st, and then I'm going to be streaming again some more multiplayer action on Wednesday, the New Year. So, looks like these guys are joined. Let me just quickly explain the rules to them. Just getting these guys filled in here, so doing good. Love our guard. We got Ravizar in here, Hydro Franz, Playdrone, Zero, Kalimar, ruling hard, you know. Thomas in the house as well. Okay, getting that locked in there, and let's see here. Sorry guys, just getting things kind of again situated. Noob for Life is chilling in here. He's going to be in our second bracket. I'm just working out exactly who his opponent is going to be. So, yep, just getting in here now. And, yeah, these lads are getting their stuff locked in. So, hope y'all are doing well this afternoon, evening, morning, whatever, wherever it is. I'm doing great. Feeling a bit better after yesterday morning. A little bit rough still from the illness that I had, but I'm feeling much better today overall. To a little bit of a holiday party night last night with some IRL friends. That was fun. Got to see some people I haven't seen in a while, so that's always nice. And here we're gonna have some awesome multiplayer action. So I'm excited. Got quite a few awesome videos for you guys planned as well. We're going to be talking about the green skins, of course. Since they are slated for an update soon, I do want to be chatting about them a bit. I've also got some videos planned focusing in on the lizardmen a bit as well. We're going to be examining the slawns, kind of their use case scenarios, and yeah, just kind of doing it to it with the regular replays, of course. Alright, so it looks like we're getting our army picks locked in. Wickedy going to be coming in with Bretonia, picking Bretonia and banning Lizardmen and Greenskins. Sladex, of course, taking that very personally. And, yes, that is true. So, he'll be, going for Bretonia without Greenskins. Greenskins actually are a pretty decent counter for Bretonia right now. It's definitely a very interesting matchup. One of the more interesting matchups, in my opinion, but yeah. Vodka and herring. There we go. Greenskins are in a pretty good spot for multiplayer at the moment. Yeah, and they do struggle for a bit anti-large. And yeah, you know, mostly it's just the changes that the script I've written up mostly revolve around like lord and character changes. So we'll kind of see. We'll kind of see what it ends up playing out as. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just check in here. And I just need to drop a note here. I think we might have actually Flying Taco come in and sub. Since I had another competitor drop, but these guys are just getting their armies picked as we're doing this, so just don't mind me for a moment. We are going to be throwing down shortly. Alright, alright. Grimgor is OP, yeah. Yeah, the character changes are really the ones that I'm looking at for my video, but it should be fun. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Looks like we're going to be having Norska versus Bretonia. And a wild time for both, no doubt. Go ahead and have a look here. Alright. Yes, this is another tournament. Yeah, so and unfortunately, just kind of the how the timing works out. Turin's, I'm sure his ECL is starting like right now, just to queue up his qualifier for the Eternal Challenger League. So yeah, it's a little bit tough that we're going at the same time, but you know, most people, it's pretty easy to flip between the two streams, whether, you know, if you're on a PC or if you have like your PC and your phone, then you can kind of check between the two, right? So at least for myself, like when I'm sitting back watching tournaments like on a Saturday, or, you know, watching sports events or so on, like usually I'll be flipping between multiple games or matches, right? So yeah, a little bit tough, not ideal, but it's all good. You know, we're all friends at the end of the day, so there is plenty of viewership to go around. Nice, that's good, Funky Koval. Yeah, I'm enjoying campaign quite a bit recently. It's gonna be fun. So get these guys locked in here. And let me just come over here. And look at that. And let's see. Okay, turn's not on yet. Oh, okay, good, good, good. Appreciate it, Rasmus. Just want to get you guys as much sweet Warhammer action as possible, right? I mean, yeah, I know there are some content creators, not so much in this community. I mean, Total War Warhammer has just an awesome community in general, especially for multiplayer, but there are some mentalities. I have talked to creators who have this kind of, almost call it like a starvation mentality, where they think that, like, there's not enough views to go around, and that, like, if I, you know, give you, like, a shout out, then I'm taking views away from myself, or I don't know, like, they just have kind of this very zero-sum, like, viewpoint on things, where they don't think that it's beneficial for everyone if there's more people doing it, right? So I kind of have the opposite view. Like, I think the more people are doing this, the more hype we can generate, the bigger the community gets, and ultimately it's just going to benefit everyone at the end of the day, right? So yeah, let's see what these guys are checking in on. I think Beastmen are in a pretty good place. Chaos is interesting. Chaos, it's showing its age for sure, probably out of more than any other faction, I would say, at this point. I do think that the Warriors of Chaos, I mean, obviously we're going to see a lot with them on Game 3. It's kind of difficult to say exactly what will be released there, but it will definitely boost them up in terms of competitive. I mean, of course, we'll just have more Chaos factions as well, but I'm genuinely interested to see what the Warriors of Chaos get with their, you know, with their love. I don't know, I think Beastmen are actually in a pretty good place in terms of competitive. At least I enjoy playing them quite a bit. The price reduction recently to Minotaurs was pretty good. Like, they have decent legendary lords. They're not the best, but they do need more lord selections overall. Like, for both Norska and for the Beastmen, only having one generic lord selection feels so bad. It's so painful. So that would be nice to get more generic lord selections for both of those, but yeah, I would say Beastmen and actually Norska probably need, out of any factions, the most love. As legendary lords. Yep. Okay, looks like these guys are just about there. Awesome. So, we'll go ahead and switch this back on over. And okay, yeah, just getting things locked in here. All right, and let's switch this over. Here we are. We've got our scoreboard up, and hopefully it's actually displaying the game. Yes, there we go. Good. Go ahead and get the music faded out here. Yes, thank you. Med 2 soundtrack once again, for those of you who are curious. That is the Total War Medieval 2 soundtrack once again, and having a look at the builds here, let's take a look at Bretonnia. Wicked leading the way here. He's got a Lord plus Henri, so double single entity Hippogriff up in the air. Got some mobs here, looks like Holy Wardens, Damsel Lore of Life, of course, some Yeoman Archers, 4 of them, pretty solid stuff. We've also got some Spearmen at Arms and a couple of Grail Guardians. Very interesting, going for more of a defensive play there. Also got some Holy Wardens of La Maison-Tal, some Pole Arms. Interesting build. Very interesting. As for the Heathen Berserkers here, we've got Throg leading the way, Fmir with great weapons, Norskin Trolls, Slade, of course, definitely a big fan of his troll builds. He's also got front line of some berserkers here, just ready to go all in and cut through all the peasants that they need to. For a bit of extra anti-large, we've got this Moss of Savagery here, and Norscan Hounds with 2 Ice Wolves as well. Looks like a Lore of Death here, going to be Spirit Leech, I would imagine. If I can actually find a feed on this guy here. This is, wow, he is like really just cuddling with that Famir right now. Yeah, Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, pretty standard stuff. So let's just all take a moment to look at this beautiful couple right here. How adorable these two are. Just, oh, look at them. They're all cuddled up next to each other. Anyway. Yeah, good to see Throg here. He's pretty solid. The fire arrows of the peasants can be a bit of a danger to him, but it doesn't look like Wicked's brought any. The Frostbite, of course, very good anti-large AP. Generally quite strong against Bretonia. So, it's going to be a bit of a wild one. Let's see how things go. Oh, hold on. I need to put this down there. Yes. Okay, there we go. So that we actually have the scoreboards up on top. There we go. Yes. Right, though? Right? All I want is someone to cuddle with me like this Famir is cuddling this Shaman Sorcerer right here. Yeah, I know, right? I know, Nickel. Maybe not the most appropriate for YouTube, but interesting. I actually really like the mounted Yeoman Archers here. The Norsca does tend to have pretty good mobility options, and man, look at that. Look at that peasant smile there. Yes, yes, start when ready, absolutely. Cool. That peasant smile, though. You know the peasants don't have great dental benefits. I mean, they don't really have any benefits at all to speak of, but one benefit they do have is that they will die in place of knights, so that in and of itself is a benefit, but looks like the mounted yeoman archers pulling up and around here. They did get a volley on those hounds, but the hounds obviously skirting up and towards some reinforcements here. Henri and the Lord just kind of zoning out nicely, making sure those warhounds understand their place as they race back towards the Norscan lines here. Wicked is going to be pulling back a bit, kind of anchoring the left part of his Grail Guardians against this impassable structure here, and then sort of lining up with the peasants, trying to do some initial skirmish damage with these mounted yeoman archers, and they are going to get in and get some really nice work done, very high value work done on the berserkers there. Granted, berserkers haven't dropped a whole lot of models, but that HP damage is pretty significant. And it looks like Wicked might actually be maneuvering to try and get out more onto the open field, but oh man, this is a huge mistake. These Norscan Warhounds, as soon as they catch these guys, I mean, that is game blouses. They're going to be frostbitten. There's no way for these guys to get away. They're down to 58 speed, and now high weapon strength, 48 weapon strength plus 38 charge bonus means that, yeah, these Yeoman Archers are completely shut down. Good work done, though. He's basically killed one unit of Marauders for the cost, so that's pretty decent, but it does look like he's going to be pulling back, trying to screen through these peasants here. The peasant mobs will be eating the charge of those wolves very cost effectively. Wolves then immediately pulling away. And yeah, looks like Henri, this is very risky for Henri and the Lord to dive down right in the center of this, because Throg could potentially hook these skin wolves up and around and get in here and get with a frostbite. It looks like the wolves actually not being used. Frostbite does go from Throg himself, but if these Ice Wolves had kind of stuck around there, Throg might have been able to pin Henri and or the Lord on the ground, but it looks like actually a regrowth there, an overcast regrowth. That's a bit of a misplay from Wicked, overcasting that there. I do understand, you know, he was maybe going to get the Lord pinned there on the ground, so I do like that precast a little bit there, but he is going to be wasting somewhat of the efficiency of that regrowth. As you can see, it does tick for quite a bit after the Lord has gone to full health there. But, you know, not the biggest mistake in the world. Meanwhile, the front line engagement is getting underway. The Throg coming in here with his Troll Boys, just beating up on Grail Guardians. The Grail Guardians with their high melee defense will do quite well. Looks like we've got Earthblood replenishing there as well. I do hear Fate of Buna. Is that going on, what is that? These Grail Guardians here, that is going to do excellent, excellent damage, excellent use of that spell, and with the Maws of Savagery there to provide the actual punch, they will actually drop quite a few unit models there, whereas Fate of Buna normally would not. You can see the Beast Slayers of Bastogne rushing up in here to try and get some supporting fire. The Berserkers actually running out a little bit out of steam in this center pocket here as they just get beat up pretty badly, but the Warhound's able to push up and around the flanks, start to pressure some of these peasants, keep those mounted yeomen kind of uncomfortable for the time being, even if they are taking some horrendous losses. Meanwhile, up on the high ground, no question, these Holy Wardens getting mopped up, plus the Damsel here, not being on a horse, only being protected by the Holy Wardens, does also get cleaned up, and that is not good news for Bretonnia. These Trolls and these Marauders here just doing a ton of damage. The Holy Wardens also a relatively high-value unit, but that being said, looks like the Lord and Henri come back around, get a really nice charge here on Throg, just doing a ton of damage to him. If they can potentially finish off his leadership, get him terrified away here, that is quite nice. Do need to be careful, though, of course, of those Famir Great Weapons. He's still got this nice little box of polearms kind of holding the line here, so Bretonnia definitely not out of this yet. Very close game, back and forth, slightly in Norska's favor at this point, but again, Bretonnia rallying a few units here. We've got these Grail Guardians also coming back, and potentially they can start to see off some of these Hounds and kind of re-anchor this position. But in the center, if we have a look, the Lord and Henri are taking quite a bit of damage. They need to get back up and out of this situation, but it looks like Henri actually pinned in by the Skin Wolves and Throg here. This is going to be a massive, massive get for Norska. Just, of course, the mass there is too much, and Henri actually goes down as Throg just kicks him in the teeth there, and that's going to be a decisive loss for Bretonnia as the balance power very quickly starts to crumble from that point. So a little bit rough there. I actually really like that headstrong play from Slade, using those Ice Trolls. The Ice Troll, Throg, and the regular Trolls actually very cost effectively here, only 800 points, and you can see those Trolls have taken very little damage, racked up quite a bit of damage, you know, on the flip side. So interesting build from Wicked. I'm not sure about the choice of the Grail Guardians here. I mean, just Famir and Trolls will both crump them pretty hard, but I do sort of see, you know, having that nice anchor line and then having Henri plus the Lord come in and then cycle charge. But again, that regrowth on the Lord, he is already at his healing cap, so not the most efficient use of that there. The Halberds will do okay here. Men-at-Arms with polearms will hold up decently against Famir, but Berserkers are a pretty hard counter to them as well. They do kind of struggle in that particular matchup, and yeah, it's just a tough time for Bretonnia. Bretonnia, especially coming in a situation like this where you're picking them first in a tournament, even with a double ban, there are still a couple of matchups that you're going to run into that will be very, very tough, and Norska is certainly one of them. Throg bringing the hammer down, and the Bretonnian Lord of the Chevaliers, going to be a turning tail, and that should be army losses. So, yeah, well played to both. Slade going to be picking up his first win there. We'll go ahead and update the scoreboard for that. If we go ahead and pop on over here, Blade X taking home the bacon with the Trolls, picking up a win there. Excellent stuff. So let's get back. Yeah, well, I was going to do a little bit of breakdown there, but kind of skipped past it. No worries. And for our mystery competitor, we are actually going to get, let me just quickly check in here. And yeah, I believe we're going to have I'm just going to leave it a mystery. You know what? Let's just leave it a mystery for now, because that's more fun, right? So, good stuff. Not too often you see the regular Norse controls. I mean, obviously, when you see Norska, you typically tend to think of the Ice Trolls or Famir, right? The normal Trolls, not a super common pick there. Whoops. And nice to see them get used, though. That's a cool use of them. They are very cost-effective in certain situations. Only 800 points for 110 weapon strength is pretty solid. I mean, that's like regenerating Minotaur with bad leadership, you know, and speed for less points. So, pretty good. Pretty good. I like it quite a bit. I have not tried SFO in quite a while, actually. I should take a look at it again. Generally, because I play a lot of multiplayer, you know, like quick battles and tournaments and stuff, I tend to stay within the vanilla balance of the game as much as possible. Nothing against people who play with mods like, especially big overhauls like SFO, but just not my thing. Ogre cav charges. Oh man, I'm so excited for Ogre everything, to be honest. Ogre everything is going to be so, so good. Yes, like the Rhinox, I believe is what they're called, the Rhinox Cav. Next map is going to be... let's do Pillar of Bone. I know it's a reasonably common map, but it is a favorite of mine. Yes, fighty, exactly. Slade X is right on target there. I want a fighty map. I want a map where these guys can get in there and slug it out. Hobgoblins. You might be the only person that's hyped for Hobgoblins, but hey, there we go. More power to you. Actually, will be interesting to see the legendary lords for ogres. Like, it's just ogres is one of those factions that's like, it's very asymmetric, right? Like a lot of the other Warhammer factions. Yes, they're going to be interesting in Total War, to say the least. I'm very, very interested in how they play out. If they're going to have like monstrous infantry units that have maybe a little bit less HP per model, but more numbers, like more like Skinwolf type numbers, or maybe even more, maybe up to like, I don't know, like cavalry type numbers per unit, depending on the quality. Could be interesting. Like, could you imagine a unit of like 45 not very good monstrous infantry? I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to work there, but goblins in general, yeah, I understand that. I'm really, really hoping we get some ridiculous stuff with the new DLC that's coming up soon. Oh man, Slade coming in with the greenskins banning no one. Boys ain't scared of no one. So that leaves things wide open for Wicked. Dwarves of Chaos, oh yeah. The evil trains, evil machines, I'm about that for sure. I'm excited for Chaos Dwarfs. Demons, of course, as well. You're going to be getting like Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slanesh, Khorne, all of the fun creatures of the North. And we'll see. I mean, they've got to include at least one quote-unquote good faction, right? Or at least one like order type faction. So I think we're going to see Kislev. And everyone has been requesting Kislev for so long, right? Like, everyone in their Warhound wants Kislev to be in the game, so I could see them potentially doing Kislev as a Game 3 ad, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, Slade's Greenskins is very scary, yep. Yep. Greenskins versus High Elves seems to be the general consensus among the community of what the next DLC will be, yes. I agree, Funky Koval, and even within that, like, most factions have enough variety that you can play some different styles within that faction, right? Like take Lizardmen, for example. They're very much a monster-focused faction, but you can kind of play them in other ways as well. You can play them more as, like, an infantry faction, or, like, you know, you can't really play them as a cav faction, but you can kind of play, like, some skirmish kite things, or, you know, like, I don't know, like, just most factions are a lot more flexible, I think, than most people realize. And the flexibility, plus the different play styles, plus, you know, all the different factors, just means that there's endless replayability, just about, right? Yeah, Ravazar, that's kind of a point. They are more of a neutral faction, kind of like the Greenskins, I would say, where they just want to destroy stuff. Yeah, that's a pretty apt comparison. But yes, Talea. I'm still holding out hope for Southern Realms in Game 3 at some point. So, some kind of like mercenary faction, or I don't know. Okay, just getting these guys locked in. Welcome, welcome. Got quite a few watching today. Thank you all for joining. Most likely, yeah. That seems to be the going consensus at this point, right? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Because the thing about Southern Realms and Game 3 that the connection that I'm kind of clinging to, yeah, we could maybe get something like that going at some point, FGA. But yeah, what was I saying? So the Southern Realms, like, I could see them doing the Dogs of War thing in a few different ways. Like, I could see some Southern Realm factions. I could see them giving some mercenary units to, like, Dwarfs, Bretonnia, Empire, like, from that faction. And then, because the Ogres, right, are heavily associated with mercenaries, you know, you got, like, the Ogre Man-Eaters. You've got just Ogres being associated generally with being mercenaries. I think that they, like, drawing on that connection there, you could make a case that potentially they could put like a mercenary detachment somewhere, almost like a Hunter and the Beast style, where they kind of throw him out in the Darklands somewhere as this mercenary company that's like, you know, maybe you're trying to protect a caravan that's coming back from Cathay, or, you know, there's definitely some kind of flavor things they could do there to help put Southern Realms on the map. But for me, like, just Kislev plus Southern Realms, give us 4 human factions in total, I would be so happy. So happy. Yeah, exactly. Like, something like Wolfheart. Exactly. Yep. Okay. So, they are now here. And we are also here. So let us fade that music out, and let's take a look at the armies now. We've got the vampire counts. Oh no. Oh no! The dreaded, the one, the only, Helmengorst. Yep, he's here, guys. We got Helmengorst with the Necromancer and a White King on foot. Let's have a look at the rest of the army. Zombies up front. Second line of skeleton warriors with some spears. We've got some crypt horrors, very interesting pick. Blood knights and black knights with a black coach for some cheap terror. For the green skins, we've got black orcs, 4 units of black orcs, plus the unbreakable 8-peak loons, of course, so a very high leadership front line. He's got a second line of orc arrow boys, rusty arrows, 3 arrow boys plus the rusty arrows. We've got goblins, spider riders protecting the rear, Grimgor up front and center. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just so angry, ready to go, punching everyone in the face. So who will win out of the OP Lords? This is definitely the battle of the OP Lords here. Will it be Helmengorst or will it be Grimgor Ironhide? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a great one. True classic, instant classic as some people might say. Yes, yes. Mangy Marauders here. Pretty decent pick. That nice armor-piercing skirmish is decent against vampire counts pretty much always. I think Mangy Marauders are just generally a good pick in most situations. I mean, with the greenskins, you want to take all the regiments of renown, right? Like, it's really hard to actually pick and choose which regiments of renown you should bring and which ones you shouldn't. But this is one I think you absolutely should consider in most builds, to be honest here. That armor piercing. They also have immune to psychology. I mean, granted, they still only have 48 leadership, so they'll get routed very easily, but yeah. Let's get to it. And they're off. The Mangy Marauder is going to be working up, probably try and do a bit of scouting towards that woods there. It is pretty common to try and hide some high-value units in the woods there, and it does look like the Mangy Marauders have spotted those Blood Knights, so will they be able to pull away in time? It looks like they do definitely pull away there. An immediate zap going to be going off on that Necromancer, does a ton of damage. That Overcast, Vindictive Glare there, very good stuff. Looks like these Black Knights are just going to be going straight up the pipe here, probably just direct face charging into Black Orcs. I mean, why not, right? Those Black Orcs are going to take a heavy pounding on the charge, but Wa being popped is a nice counter. It looks like some of these Blood Knight models actually might end up taking some damage here, but it does look like that Wa was mostly soaked by a lot of these chaff-type units here. You can see zombies attempting to pull back, but oh man, this unit of Blood Knights took a ton of damage from something there. Nothing an invocation of the heck, can't heal. But regardless, a nice little brain burst there, doing quite a bit of damage to those Black Knights as well. This unit of zombies getting caught up. Yeah, he kind of did kite out that Wa pretty nicely, but oh man, look at this Fanatic's cast right through that blob, actually doing some damage to the Blood Knights there. Could have been a little bit better, but that Fanatic's cast right on point, also doing some good damage to the Skeleton Warriors. This Vampire line is going to get crumped on super hard here. Helm and Gorse going to actually have to do some very heavy lifting, as will the Knights. And continuing to cycle charge through the back of the Cryptors here isn't going to be as effective. They definitely need to try and do exactly this. Shoot up and around through these gaps, get around the flanks here. The Nasty Skulkers coming in to secure. We'll be able to get a nice smoke bomb here. It does look like it got only the one unit of Blood Knights though, so the Black Knights will be able to pull through and get into this back line here. Spider Riders can potentially stop them, but it does look like they're going to be able to interrupt at least those Orc Arrow Boys for the time being. So good stuff there. That being said, in the front line, as I said, the Greenskins are just crumping hard. Granted, this unit of Black Orcs getting stepped on a little bit, but look at how many resources the Vampires have here. And this Black Coach also just kind of sitting idly, not really being used to ping-ponging around and get the terror routes in a mobile sense that it needs to. Blood Knights just crumbling here, just getting absolutely crumped on as they can't get away from that smoke bomb. So if we zoom in close here, Black Orc's going to be just mulching in this situation here. This unit of Black Orcs probably going to get routed. It does look like they get routed there. The Black Coach is able to get loose, actually still holding for the time being, which is quite impressive, but that Black Coach is able to get loose, start to get around, apply some different hits in some various locations here. It looks like the Blood Knights are crumbling, but still holding for the time being. Those Black Knights are pretty much done for, though, so Wicked's going to have to be careful. The majority of his army's killing power is tied up in these Blood Knights, so if he gets them killed, you know, too early on without having done enough damage in return, I mean, there's only so much Helm and Gorse can do, right? And oh man, look who's got a hold of Helm and Gorse, just grabbing the back of the corpse cart here, just, you know, tearing it piece from piece, grabbing these little bags and just whacking Helm and Gorse on the back of the head with them. That is bad news bears for Mr. Gorse, as he's getting torn to shreds by Grimgore there. I mean, I say he's torn to shreds. He's actually not taking a whole lot of damage, all things considered. But the Greenskins are slowly grinding ahead as they're able to kind of force the Vampires out of position here in various places. A nice little scab scrath there from the White King, but again, him fighting unsupported here is a little bit tough. I think the Cryptors, nice on paper, but they really don't have the best defensive stats. I think you're better off to go with a little bit better defensive infantry here, and you can see the Blood Knights desperately trying to get through to shut down that missile line. Just not quite enough at the end of the day. The Black Coach is still very healthy, but he needed to be using this thing more for disruption throughout the course of the battle. The Terror might still be enough, though, in the late game if he can get some of these units terrified away. Maybe come in and proc a rear charge here, but you can see how healthy these Black Orcs are. Still just completely healthy, and Grimgore, you know, I'm not sure if he can fully tell the difference between Gorst and this other corpse cart here, but regardless, he's angry enough that he's going to tear apart whichever one comes close. And with the Mangy Marauders coming in and pinning in this Necromancer cart here, he cannot get away. And those Cryptors, they're going to do their best to try and save him, but a secondary wall being popped, another massive damage spike all across the field there, and a beautiful Fanatics cast. Well, actually going pretty much straight through the enemy there. It did get some Grave Guard, might have got a few of those Mangy Marauders as well, but a decent Fanatics cast there, considering the situation. The White King does rush in here at this point, though. The Cryptors, all of these resources just kind of trying to save this point, but you can see a lot of the Vampire troops have crumbled away. Greenskin's able to take a commanding lead in terms of the presence on the battlefield, and also on the balance of power as well. This Black Coach doing okay. Greenskins, though, one thing about Orcs in particular is that because of their heavy mass, chariot units sometimes, especially the lighter chariots like the Black Coach, can have a bit of a hard time against them. Goblins, of course, you don't necessarily have that issue nearly as much, but you can get stopped up by orcs in a situation like this, and, I mean, the coach will be able to turn around and pull away, but not as efficiently as if it were just goblins, right? So, decent stuff. Slade definitely showing his prowess here. And, oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that giant overhand coming in. Please do us all a favor. Grimgor, finish Helmengorst. It is your destiny. Yes. Yes, the boys cheer in celebration as the world is rid of Helmengorst, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief, and everyone is happy. There we go. There we go. How about that, huh? Gorst is toast. That is the thing there. So, yeah, decent stuff. Decent stuff. I'm pretty sure someone did mention that might be a rule break. I'm pretty sure that 4 Black Orcs is actually legal under the banner rules. I'm pretty sure it's not under the Warhammer Cup rules, but for this particular tournament, we are using the banner rules, right? So. Good stuff. Yeah. The Black Coach did get a little bit of a mass buff, but yeah. So we're gonna let these two fade out here as we queue up the next. Queue up the next one here. Let me just yeah. Oh, right, it's best of 5, actually. So we do have one more game here. And while they're doing that, let me just check on something here. We're going to go with... No, not that one. Yeah, let's do Alpine Ridge. Sure, why not? Okay, and while they're doing that, let's switch this back on over to here so that you guys have something to look at. So for the time being, that is going to be a 1-0 for Slade, although I do need to check on that ruling there just to make sure that was technically legal, and then check in with them to see. Honestly, I don't know, even if he had reallocated the 1 Black Orc to other funds, like, I still don't know that would have really changed the result of the game necessarily, but I can check in here just for the sake of being fair on the rules. Okay, here it is. That, and let me come over here. Yeah, how about that? It is a rule break. Interesting. Let me just double check here, because I know... Oh, yeah. Yep, you're all right. So let me check in with these guys here. I actually didn't even realize that's my fault for not knowing that. See if they wish to replay it or what. Oh, Arrow set 4 is not. Okay, so yeah. Interesting, okay. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, that was a Gorst build. Changing 1 Black Orc, even like leaving that 1 Black Orc in the corner and playing 1150 down. Like, I think Slade still would have won, so Just chatting it over with these two in the game chat right now. Wicked says it's fine. If Wicked says it's fine, and he was the one that was wronged by the rule break, I'm totally fine with just letting it stand. So, would I live stream myself fighting with Mike Tyson for 13K? Yeah. Yeah, 13K plus medical bills, yeah. Sure. Yep, looks like these guys are getting their, yeah, too many black orcs. Yep, so in the banner rule set, I have the updated rule set here. I believe I can post this around. So this is the banner rule set, for those of you guys who are wondering. Hopefully you guys can click on that link there. And yeah, essentially, there are just certain limitations, of course, and sometimes I have a hard time remembering because Aerocrastic does a great job of listening to feedback and kind of implementing small kind of fine-tuning changes here and there, which is really, really nice. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's the reason why I use this rule set, but sometimes I forget to check the updates, and that's on me, right? That's on me not staying up to date on things, but yeah. That's a good way to do things, in fact, just to kind of like force yourself to build balanced armies and not just always death stack in the campaign, right? Because there's always that temptation in the campaign to just build a full stack of, you know, disgusting monsters. So, yeah. I get you there for sure. For sure. Great. 19 Dread Saurians is fun. It is. Oh no, it is fun, don't get me wrong. And like having one army like that stomping around the campaign map is certainly a lot of fun. But for me personally, at least, I like playing the well-balanced armies. It's more maybe more flavorful, I don't know exactly, but it's fun, certainly. And that's the cool thing about campaign, right? Because it's single player, like you can play whatever way makes you happy. And that's fine. That's totally fine. Let's do... And yes, okay, there we go. Yeah, unit cap system would be great. I think if they were to implement something maybe not quite as hardly defined as what the Tomb Kings have, but implementing a system like that I think would actually make a lot of sense. Getting a little loud there. Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. Well, Iris, you are just about on time. We're still in the first round. Blade X versus Admiral Radis, or rather Wicked D. So we've got X versus D here. So yeah, should be hopping back in. It's going to be Beastmen versus Dark Elves for Game 3 between these two. We have a look here. I won't check in on their builds, but you can see their matchups here. So I'm actually going to go grab a drink of water. I will be right back. Bear with me just a second. Okay, just in time. How about that? That's too bad, in fact. That's too bad. Yeah, Steam support. Steam support is a bit of a derp sometimes. Okay. Well, it's water that's blessed by the lady, Hydro France. Well, mead, yes, absolutely. And cider? That's tough. In fact, I've seen a few people, if you're on the beta, like, depending if you're on the beta or the live build, I know I've seen a few people saying that, like, Malice won't show up for them if they're on the beta. Or, like, Malice and Snitch won't show up if they're on the beta. Like, I know I've heard other people having similar problems, so... yeah, hopefully they can get that sorted out soon, but... anyway, let's have a look at the builds here. Currently, Slade up 2-0 with his Beastman. We're going to start in with him first, and oh boy, we've got Minotaurs. Dual Blade Minotaurs here, some Chaos Spawn. More Dual Blade Minotaurs here, and is it a fourth unit? Third unit of Minotaur Dual Blades, and we've got 2 units of Chaos Spawn. Sons of Goros here, Harpies up in the sky. Front line is going to be Vanguard of Ungor Spearman Herd, getting very aggressive. And yeah, it's got to be Morgur, I would imagine, with this spawn build here. Yep, of course, Morgur, and we've also got a Bray Shaman Lore of Death. Straightforward stuff. Looks like Wicked's gone for a very unorthodox build here. He's got Harpies, he's got a K-Knight Assassin, a bunch of Dread Spears here, definitely some Scourge Runner Chariot action, Marathi up in the air, with the Chill of Sontar, plus, is that a Charybdis? Oh man, please tell me that's a Charybdis. It is in fact a Charybdis. Okay, so, we've got Lore of Shadows here. If we look at the... is she just have Enfeebling Foe? Is that literally... or is it just, oh, the Withering. So just -8 leadership to Overcast, I guess. And, yeah, just looking for a leadership bomb here with the Charybdis, I suppose. I'm not really sure. Overcast, Doom and Darkness there. We've got Dark Riders. Interesting. Very interesting builds on both sides. Double Hydra. Well, kind of. One of them is, in fact, a Charybdis. Yeah, that sounds like a Steam issue, in fact. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like these guys are going to be getting underway, and already Slade is reacting here, bringing up his forces into this kind of a little strange formation here. Wicked's going to want to probably play this as tight as he can, but the Harpies versus the Harpies is really the engagement that we care most about, right? I really want these Harpies to just run in and absolutely kill each other, but we'll see. We will see. I really like the pick of the spawn here. I don't actually see that many great answers in Wicked's army for the spawn. I mean, of course, like the Scourge Runner Chariots can get in, they can get some good damage in on the spawn, but honestly, there's just such a critical mass of monstrous infantry here between the spawn and the Minotaurs that I think Wicked's going to potentially have some troubles here. But you can see Slade's just kind of soaking the shots there for the time being on the spawn. Perfectly happy to let those Scourge Runners kind of waste some of their ammunition here. And, yeah, Marathi looks like she might try and pull those Harpies into a melee engagement with herself. Harpy's just doing some scouting here. They have discovered the K-Knight Assassin, who might take a few picking shots at them, but it looks like Beastman Infantry just kind of running straight in here. A little bit risky to do this unsupported, but the Blackhorns Ravagers in particular will just cut through these Bleak Swords like they are butter. You can see immediate decapitations going off all across the line there. And, yeah, those Bleak Swords suffering very, very badly. A nice little breath attack on the side, though, from that Charybdis comes in. Actually, we'll probably proc a terror out very quickly on those Blackhorns Ravagers, so this monstrous infantry support from Slade just slightly late here, but it does look like Dark Rider's going to intercept the charge there of the Sons of Goros. They get some good damage on those Ungor Spearmen, but they will take plenty of damage in return. But this is what we're interested in. let's be honest. This is what everyone wants to see here, is the monster mash, right? We've got the Charybdis in here, a bunch of spawn, and it looks like actually that unit of spawn is taking some pretty serious damage. I'm not sure exactly what, but it looks like a Soul Stealer potentially going down, Web of Shadows as well. That multi-model spell will do quite a bit of damage to those Minotaurs and to the Chaos spawn as well. That being said, this Dark Elf infantry, as you would expect, is getting absolutely hammered, and the Scourge Runner chariots as well getting actually chased off by the spawn here. A few of their models getting caught up and actually dragged down. You can see this model here actually gets blown up, so that's a huge loss. One of the Scourge Runner chariots actually getting down on power quite a bit, but we've got the spawn summons active, which means the bounce power is a little bit inflated here. You can see the Minotaur starting to wear off a little bit, and Morgar's also got the Assassin's Trophy on him. Not sure if the Canine Assassin wants to really fight Morgar in melee necessarily. With that Assassin's Trophy active, he absolutely could, but it looks like it's a little too late as the Canine Assassin's already been beat up quite badly there. But this Dark Elf monster blob still continuing to fight here. Chill of Sontar plus the Charybdis will go on for some time. Morathi, of course, being up in the air, can kind of pick and choose her engagements as she wants. A nice Overcast Doom and Darkness, of course, won't break the Chaos spawn because they're unbreakable, and even the Minotaurs, here comes that second summon spawn as well. Oh man, it's absolutely backbreaking at this point, as these Hydras are surrounded by angry monstrous infantry. And I know we were talking about ogres earlier. This is pretty much, I think, the closest we can come currently to having ogres in the game, right? Ogre Kingdoms. Like, this is an actual Ogre Kingdoms build, just maxing out on monstrous infantry. That is awesome. Super fun stuff. Angry cows and angry tentacle cows as well. And that Overcast Doom and Darkness, just not going to be enough, of course. Those Chaos Spawn, the fact that they're unbreakable, was basically a hard counter to Wicked's build here. And yeah, I guess a Slate X, I don't know if that was intentional necessarily to have the spawn here to counter that sort of leadership Death Star build, that kind of leadership bomb style. But it ended up being a hard counter, of course, because those Chaos Spawn are unbreakable. They were not susceptible to that Doom and Barkness. It's Beastmen, right? Nice Purple Sun hits those Dread Spears there. And at this point, it's just a matter of waiting for Morathi to die and for these chariots to run out of ammo, honestly. They are pretty much out of ammo completely here. Just about, so GG. Yeah, looks like Slate X going to take that one 3-0. With some angry builds here. Chill of Sontar looks like it's still fighting. Charybdis is still fighting. Neither one are feeling particularly happy, though, as the angry Moo Cows get in here. Sons of Goros cleaning up the Scourge Runner chariots, probably breaking down some of their models. Even the Harpies jumping in for some fun. It's just a bad time to be a Dark Elf. Oh man, that Chill of Sontar, of course it gets the healing proc as soon as it shatters, right? But, yeah. Wicked's going to be charging in here. Direct charging the Minotaurs. Oh, a couple of them go for a ride. But they do get some attacks in return, maybe, or they just get staggered constantly. There we go. Get some attacks, boys. Let's finish these chariots off here. Morathi dropping some love in the background there. Comes in, slaps a few of these unit models down. Yeah, sorry about that, Nickel. They kind of got a little bit bull rush there, you might say. The Sons of Goros will get that leadership debuff. Will probably get terrified away very quickly, but do get a decisive charge there, finishing off those Dark Riders. And yeah, that is pretty much going to be army losses, as the Charybdis shatters. It's pretty much just Morathi at this point. These Minotaurs as well, trying to finish off various units, whatever they can here. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I would probably just admit defeat if I were Wicked at this point. I mean, he maybe can try and win this with just cycle charging Morathi, but yeah, nope, there's army losses. Yeah, Blackguard would have been a good counter, exactly. Blackguard are decent in this matchup. They're probably one of the best, or one of the, yeah, they're one of the only good elite halberds in the game, I should say. And I do think they are pretty good in this matchup. I would definitely recommend bringing them here. But very nice build from Slade. That Bull Rush with the Spawn. The Spawn's kind of taking the hits, and then the Minotaurs coming in doing the damage. Very fun stuff. The Harpies also 41 kills as well for the Sons of Goros there. So yeah, Cool, cool. So we're going to get our next competitors loaded in here. So let me go ahead and PM some things. Cool, cool. Then we'll get here, and we're getting our competitors loaded in. So if we, in the meantime, go ahead and pop back over here. Yes, the celebration music as we pull over to the bracket, and Sladex goes up 3-0. And that means he is going to, of course, advance on to the finals. So, well played to Wicked, good showing. Big thanks for joining today. Slade rolling with his greenskins on to the final. That means next up we've got Noob for Life, and I can finally, reveal his opponent, the dreaded Flying Taco. Will be making a return here. He did participate in a previous qualifier, but decided to give him another shot since he was in the week with the wildly broken caskets. Whoops, he's actually not him. That's Noob for Life. Wrong person. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it to it. There we go. Okay. And this is the one. That is Flying Taco. There we go. Oh, come on. Work with me. There we go. So who will prevail? Who will be the winner between these two? So let's get in here. Okay, so just getting their picks and bans and all that locked in. Come back over to the scoreboard and just clear that up. And get that adjusted here. Probably could do a little bit more of a formal system for this, but hey, this is what we've got for now. This is what we're working with. Yeah, it's haggard, guys. I apologize. But this is what we've got. So here we are. The map we're going to go for. Let's see here. Plane of Spiders for the map. New for Life is Lizardman main? I believe so, yes. Despite the name, don't let it fool you. Actually, a very, very good player. So I'm excited to see him throw down here. Yep. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why and I mean, don't get me wrong, the modders do great work. In Game 1, I honestly played a lot more modded campaigns than in Game 2, just because there wasn't as much variety on offer. But in Game 2, like having modded campaigns is super fun, don't get me wrong. I generally play with at least a handful of mods, but sometimes when the updates come and it breaks your save, it feels so bad, you know? I definitely understand that. But let's see what Taco can bring to the table here. Looks like Noob for Life going to be going Lizardmen. Taco coming in with the vampire counts, so interesting. Kind of a matchup you would think, right, is very much in Lizardmen's favor, but I'm curious to see. what Flying Taco's got up his sleeve here. Definitely the counts can do a few different things. And I believe Aerocrastic, I was going to be recording with them today, unfortunately because of the conflict with the tournament time, I couldn't actually make it, but Aerocrastic is recording his next Meta Minutes podcast, and they are chatting, they go over like the tournament results for the week. So if you guys are into watching the competitive stuff and you want to know, you know, like kind of a weekly recap, right? If you missed some of the tournament action, you can check in there. And then also, they're going to be doing a faction focus. Right now, this next one is the Vampire Counts, which I believe is why probably Flying Taco, if he's in chat with them, is probably going to be practicing some counts just to kind of catalyze some discussion there. So, fun stuff. Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, actually, I just recently downloaded and was messing around with the Medieval 1212 Kingdoms mod for Attila. And let me know if that's something that you guys would want me to stream on the channel. I would be more than happy to, because that's it seems pretty well done. I haven't gotten that deep into it, and I know that it's still very much a work in progress, but that's something that I am absolutely interested in featuring on my channel in the future, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, they're loading in now. And I feel like this track is somewhat appropriate to the map we've got going here. Yes. Yes. Alright, and we're here. Now we've got Flying Taco up against Noob for Life. Vampire Counts versus Lizardmen should be a very interesting matchup. Let's go ahead and have a look here. We've got a front line of some zombies, Taco zombies, with some spearmen. Graveguard with great weapons, interesting. 2 of them with a regular Graveguard. We've also got some Blood Knights, Terror Goose, Corpse Cart with an Unholy Lodestone, huge fan. We've also got a unit of Crypt Horrors, and a Blood Dragon on a Dragon, as is fairly standard for the monster-type matchups. For the Lizardmen, oh boy, also got a pretty solid build here. Looks like a Revivification Crystal, a Dread Saurian, plus Lord Mazdamundi, 3 units of Temple Guard, 2 Jav cohorts, and a single Chameleon Skink. Looks like actually maybe 1 more Jav cohort there on the side, so yeah. Yeah, fun. Right? Color palette, yeah, Army Painter when, please, CA. Or at least just let us use, like, all the sub-factions colors, right? Anyway. Very interesting. This unit of Blood Knights here definitely could make a world of difference. Likewise, the 2 monsters are obviously going to be very key on both sides. I should say 3 monsters for the Lizardmen, but yeah, Taco is, Taco's a crafty one. I wouldn't underestimate him here. I think he's got the right idea, and certainly it's very micro-dependent, but I do worry a little bit about his ability to actually finish off these Temple Guard, just because he's got the 1 Graveguard with great weapon, and they have some okay stopping power, but like the Crypt Ghouls, or the Crypt Horrors rather, I don't think do a whole lot for you here, so. And they're off. Godzilla in the house. Oh yeah, look at that screen shake as that thick booty move. You already know what to do. Anyway, these guys, yeah, just surging forward, both obviously with pretty headstrong builds here. I would like to see these Chameleon Skinks kind of just mirror wherever these geese try and go. But a lot of this will be dependent on kind of how the engagements play out here. Obviously, the numbers advantage being in the favor of the Counts, no question. How will Noob for Life respond here? It looks like he is just using as much of his skirmish as he can to just do some good damage on the Blood Dragon. You know, not really a lot of a lot of reason to kind of get too far out of play here, but it does look like Flying Taco comes in for a flank attack, going to try and get this unit of isolated skinks out here on the flank. Just a full chub charge there from those Blood Knights will be devastating, and that's basically 400 units cleaned up more or less for free. Now let's see how Noob for Life reacts here. Ooh, is he going to try and overcast a net? This could potentially be a bit of a mistake here, but he does manage to actually catch them. Unfortunately, I don't think he really had the units in a position to support quickly enough. I don't know that he's going to get that much value from this nets, but at the very least, Mazdamundi does come in, prevent the Blood Knights from getting their charge bonus, get one good attack animation at the very least. The Dread Saurian a little bit late to the party, but Mazdamundi did come in here and get some value, at least, from that net. Likewise, the Dread Saurian now coming in, getting a good munch on those Blood Knights. Looks like we've also got Shield of the Old Ones popped, maybe a little bit prematurely. In this type of a situation, I would try and use that Shield of the Old Ones reactively as much as possible, but he did take a little bit of damage there on Mazdamundi, so maybe it was worthwhile to actually use in that situation. You can see, though, the Javelin Skinks and the Chameleon Skinks just tearing apart this Bloodline Lord as he flies across that back line. That is a really cost-effective use of those Javelins, and they basically used up all of their volleys, that one cohort did, so excellent stuff there. That being said, the Dread Saurian overextends a bit here. Can the Blood Dragon actually fight his way out of this? All of a sudden, oh, a huge hit from the Blood Dragon. Sort of anti-heroes, heart-piercing, all of the stuff. Dance Macabre as well, so the Blood Dragon up to 736 weapon strength, hitting just about as hard as the Dread Saurian, but that Dread Saurian, so angry, just gets a few attack animation hits, and in a situation like this, it is very dependent on RNG, whether or not you get the hit rolls, or you know, whatnot. It looks like he may have actually let the Blood Dragon get away a little bit there. I'm not sure exactly with that situation, but the Dread Saurian pulling back, able to get some healing, start to get a little bit of replenishment here. It looks like a banishment going to be going down from Mazdamundi. A little bit of a tough placement. I might have put it out here on the flank on top of those Graveguard with Grey Weapons. It does look like actually might roll through and do some friendly fire, some serious friendly fire on those Temple Guards. So, oh man, that ended up actually being a really, really bad banishment from Mazdamundi. A little bit of a rough situation there, but can Taco capitalize? It does look like he's going to be dropping down the Goose here to go after the Dread Saurian. Dread Saurian not able to actually turn and get attack animations in response, but here comes Mazdamundi with a nice turn, and there the Saurian also turns and gets his attack. It does look like here, very nicely done, getting up and around with these Blood Knights as well. The Crypt Horror is able to get an isolation and surround here, and just because again, these Temple Guard got really spread out. There's one here, and the one that was directly supporting this engagement actually got taken down, of course, right, by that banishment. So just not having the Temple Guard in a supporting position is a little bit rough at this point. That being said, these monsters are still pretty healthy. We've got a Rev Crystal and the option for some more Apotheosis as well on the Dread Saurian here. And the little Howdas are doing their best, but the Dread Saurian really just needs to keep his attack on the Terrorgeist as much as possible. I don't know really what he's trying to attack here, but you can see a lot of the time that the Dread Saurian is just kind of derping out, not doing any attack animations, and that is a little bit rough. You can expect that to happen somewhat here, but you need to try and keep him focused as much as possible. Oop, looks like, is that going to be a net or no? That is just the Helm of Discord coming in, debuffing that Dread Saurian. A nice Ruination of Cities does actually get some good damage in, but again, actually leads to those Temple Guard getting terrified away there, and it does look like a Noob for Life probably going to be dropping this one as the Dread Saurian just getting kind of ground down here, not able to sit and sustain fight like it really wants to. So ultimately, I think there were a couple of mistakes for Noob for Life. I mean, that initial net was pretty decent, but I think he really needed to save that Winds of Magic for just as much Apotheosis and a Harmonic Convergence as he can. Yeah, a little bit tough in that way. Likewise, getting the Temple Guard spread out like that, I mean, credit to Flying Taco. He really did a great job of making sure he pulled those units apart. Yeah, Dread Saurian does get stuck up like that a bit, and if the animations don't proc and it doesn't actually get the damage in, then ends up not really being worthwhile. But still, very fun game. Well played to both players. Yeah, Noob for Life there. Definitely on the right track, I think. Personally, I might cut the Rev Crystal. I don't necessarily think that the extra HP is worth it per se. I think maybe you go for a Solar Engine instead for a similar effect, or even, in fact, if you get the... I mean, it sounds like a meme, right? But because you're going to be in a lot of blob situations, I actually think that the Arc of Sotek might not be completely terrible in a build like this. Yeah, but fun stuff. Definitely decent on both sides. So long, Hydrofrons. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure to have you here. And if we pop back over here, it does look like Taco is going to pick up that first win there. So we'll go ahead and give him a 1. And, whoops, looks like these are actually backwards. My apologies. This should be over on this side. And the over here. Whoops, nope, not that, in fact. Not that. There we go. Yeah, I like the solar engine. The debuff for the solar engine is also really nice too to help counteract what's it called? Helm of Discord. So good stuff. Hop back on over to the bracket here and just have a gander at this thing once again. And yeah, I'm gonna go actually grab some more water. I will be right back, guys. Leave you with a bit of music. And you will be back in just a moment. All right, and we're back. Looks like these guys are just about ready. We're gonna have Chaos versus Norska for Game 2. Should be a fine time. Excuse me. Okay, just checking on some things here. And people are texting me. And let's see here. Okay. Cool, cool. Awesome. There are things happening in the world, certainly, but here in the world of Total War Warhammer, it looks like we are ready to start, so let's get loaded in. Chaos versus Norska, Game 2 between Noob for Life versus Flying Taco. Let's get on over to it. Yes, yes, indeed. Thank you once again. Soundtrack, for those of you who are wondering, Medieval 2 Total War. And here we are. Alpine Ridge. The excellent map, of course, the Crucible of Champions, where armies meet to decide their fates. Nice yellow sky. Probably something about Yellow Turban Rebellion for Three Kingdoms. But, yeah. Let's have a look at the builds here. We're going to start with Noob for Life's Norska. Looks like he's rocking Throg to the table. We've got Famir Balefium, Lord of Shadows, Marauders with some Marauder Spearmen. Looks like we've got some Javelins. Norscan Warhounds, plus some Norscan Ice Wolves, some Trolls here. And, yeah, Norscan Ice Trolls, so a very heavy Troll Rush style build. I'm interested to see kind of how this goes here. On the flip side, oh man, did they both go Troll Rush? No. No way. Oh no, these are Spawn. Oh, okay. Two of these are Spawn. So Kolek, seeing that Trolls are clearly inferior, has called upon the Chaos Gods to turn two of his Troll units into Chaos Spawn. Of course, they don't have their regeneration anymore, but they are now unbreakable, angry tentacle beasts, so that's fun. We've also got Chosen with Halberds, one in the center, some Marauders scattered around. It looks like some Horsemen and Masters, or some mobile ranged harass. So gonna be interesting. This is both very, very wild builds here. Yeah, Slate X, that's my build. Oh, that's great. Super fun stuff. Yeah, I'm quite excited about both these builds here. On the Chaos side, Spawn are one that I kind of wouldn't have considered too much here. You know, Norska generally has pretty good tools of dealing with monsters, right? And these monstrous infantry do fall into that, absolutely. But at the same time, you know, decent weapon strength, good weapon strength, in fact, good charge bonus, decent melee attack. The Unbreakable is quite nice here as well. So yeah, genuinely curious. I mean, that is one unit that does set these two apart, right? Is those Chaos Spawn. For whatever reason, Norska doesn't have access to Chaos Spawn. Probably fine. They have a lot of monstrous infantry already, right? They have Famir, which are absolutely better than Chaos Spawn, I would say. But let's see. See how these guys get on. We'll just kind of sit here in cinematic cam at the top of the hill and wait for the battle to commence. Yes, yes. I should have done Troll Country, honestly. Would have been interesting for these two armies in particular. Maybe we'll have to do that for one of the final round matches, huh? Maybe some Troll Country action. Okay, looks like they're underway. Marauders are going to be cresting up and around the hill. There's probably some, yeah, I typically deploy some out around the side so that I can pull up here and get full visibility. Meanwhile, Ice Doggo is pulling up on top of the hill. They're going to very quickly see the entire Chaos force here and go to want to run away. So it does look like they pull back there in an OP column formation. Oh man, is Kolek actually going to catch the tail of that unit? Doesn't look like he quite does. But meanwhile here, Marauder Horsemen just kind of pulling back. Noob for Life not really necessarily wanting to just fully, you know, run into this hill position here. But let's see what he's got. It does look like these Ice Wolves are potentially going to try and come out to this flank and screen out some of these other units here. He is kind of letting himself get picked apart a little bit here, but Flying Taco just very patiently cresting up and around the hill, not really wanting to get too far out of position, but if he does have to be very careful about these horsemen. You can see even just these two models that are kind of lagging behind the unit, if they get caught and start to get the frostbite, that will in fact apply to the whole unit, I believe. So, oh man, there goes with the one nibble there for the frostbite. That does allow the Beasts of Tashnar to potentially get in here, but it looks like they are a little bit overextended from the rest of their force, so probably going to want to pull back there potentially and not want to get taken out by Kolek. Yep, looks like they do kind of forsake that engagement. They had been getting some good work done there, but also taking some damage, which is not wildly cost effective. That being said, the javelins for Noob for Life, the infantry javelins here, are going to be just kind of pulling up in a secure position. I mean, they obviously can outroute range with 90 range just barely these horseman javs, so Noob for Life honestly can just kind of sit back here and sit in this flat ground position and try and counter skirmish. And for Flying Taco, it's probably going to be in his best interest to just come down the hill and not try and necessarily force Noob for Life to attack uphill like this. Because of these kind of hunter javelins here, he can, again, just continually turn around and try and counter skirmish here. So we'll see. We'll see, again, using these Ice Wolves, cleverly trying to use the Beasts of Tashnar in support. Yeah, Flying Taco not really taking any bait so far, just playing this, again, how he should as well. Staying patient, comes forward a little bit off the hill there, and yeah, we'll see. The melee fight's definitely going to go in, I would say, Chaos's favor initially, but these trolls here are going to be a bit of an issue for both sides. Yeah, it kind of just depends. The troll unbreakable, or sorry, the troll's low leadership with regeneration versus the spawn's unbreakable, right? So, yeah, not really sure. Noob for Life definitely playing way too passively with these javelins. He could be playing like up and almost have these javelins like as his front line here and be doing a ton of counter skirmish damage, but it does look like he's able to get this unit of Horsemasters in isolation. This is a great little ISO pick here, and yeah, the longer that that Taco waits on this engagement, it's just going to end up getting these little piecemeal kind of chinks and chunks here, and I don't know that that's necessarily going to work to his favor. He definitely just needs to concentrate forces, rush in, and just try and break things. But a nice little charge here. I don't know that I would sacrifice these Ice Wolves necessarily into those Marauders, but Kolek, I don't know, he's going to run in there and give him a good pounding. Keep in mind, most Hound-type units don't count as large, but these Ice Wolves do, in fact, count as large, right? So they will be subject to Kolek's massive anti-large bonus and are pretty much guaranteed to get hit there. Does look like he was able to chase off the Horsemasters, though, with those Beasts of Tashnar, so very good stuff. Meanwhile, the Javelins ripping apart those Chaos Spawn, very cost-effectively done there. The Horsemen are going to try and come shut them down in melee, but, I mean, these Javelins do well enough in melee. 26 attack, 22 defense. They'll be able to hold up reasonably well. They're not going to die instantly, certainly. A nice Penumbral Pendulum as well on that Chosen with Halberd. Very elite unit. Definitely getting crumped on here. They're fighting the Icehorn Marauders, which is okay for the Icehorn Marauders. Trolls jump in there. Does look like they got an enfeebling foe, so they're going to basically do nothing in that engagement. Probably ought to just pull away there, but Throg here gets caught by Kolek. Kolek's got Star Crusher active, and he also gets the enfeebling foe, so now it looks like Throg's going to turn around, try and rally the support of these Norskin Ice Trolls here, and the other Trolls, and get the Troll Rush coming. Oh, here they come, all the lads. The Famir also came in, got punted back by Kolek's tail, but the Troll boys are coming in here, starting to support their Liege Lord and those Javelins as well, but holy cow, Throg just got absolutely wrecked. Starfire, Occam's Mind Razor up to 1,000 weapon strength. Kolek right now has 1,013 weapon strength with his anti-large bonus. Just absolutely pounded Throg there. That was extremely one-sided. That being said, look at all these Javelins now just getting a nice concave, getting some nice fire in, and Kolek himself, despite he just put out like the most damage I've ever seen on a unit before, is also getting absolutely crumped on here. A nice little explosion actually does some good damage on those Ice Trolls. So yeah, very even despite everything. You can see the Norskin mobility here is able to clean up a number of Chaos units. So maybe, can these Ice Trolls, sorry, these Ice Wolves and the Beasts of Tashnar, if they can come in here, start to bog down Kolek, let these Javelins kind of do their work. It does look like Chaos gets a really nice route here, though, as the Warriors are able to rout a number of those Ice Trolls. They just couldn't hold their leadership together, and that one unit of Unbreakable Spawn still completely healthy at this point. So yeah, very wild back and forth game. Kolek might actually get taken down here though, as the Beasts of Tashnar and the Norscan Ice Wolves get in here with that enfeebling foe. The Famir also got a good hit. His armor sundered down to only 65. Javelins coming in. I don't know. I really don't think, even with taking Kolek out here, I don't know that Noob for Life can necessarily pull this one back. But he definitely did a great job there of trying to break that initial advance up a little bit. I think maybe just playing forward slightly more with the Javelins would have been in his favor, but yeah, it looks like there the Warriors of Chaos do clean up the victory. So wow, very, very tight game there. A lot of back and forth. That was wild. I thought Throg would for sure get a good engagement there, but that Star Crusher plus Occam's Mind Razor, Flying Taco coming in with the big brain play, and that has to be one of the craziest things. I mean, man, 1,000 weapon strength, 1,000. Oof. Wow. That was an awesome game. Well played to both players. Yeah, GG indeed. Go ahead and get Taco up on the twofer. Wow, that was wild. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Woo. Scary. Yeah, Grimgore could take him, right? Right, though? I feel like with Gitsnick and with, like, if you had Sneaky Stabbing, if you had Gitsnick, you had, Wah active, all three of those at the same time, you could probably go toe-to-toe with him. Yep. 1,000 weapon strength. Yep. Yeah. I've been messing around with a little bit with Mind Razor lately. And, yeah, it's good. It's really, really good in the right situation. So, let's go here. Something briefly here. Get the music back. Alright, and if we have a look at the bracket here, just to remind ourselves, Slade X currently waiting in the green room to take on the winner of this series, whether it being Flying Taco or a Noob for Life. Should be good, and then after this, we've already got 2 spots secured. Of course, Gobbo Slayer won the first qualifier with the casket. Will forever be remembered, for me at least, as the casket tournament, since that was the week that it was wildly out of balance and then was immediately nerfed afterwards. And then, yeah. And then we have in the second qualifier, of course, Falcon just tore up the competition. And now we've got qualifier number 3. Will it be Slade X? Can Noob for Life stage a comeback all the way to the final, or will Flying Taco just drop chalupas and, you know, spread his tortillas and fly all the way there? We'll see. We'll see. And then, of course, we've got our final qualifier next week. Be sure to tune in next Sunday for the qualifier number 4. And then, yeah, we'll be working out. I don't know if I'm exactly going to do the final, like the grand final, immediately 1 week after, or if we'll kind of take a week in between. I need to check in with all the competitors, obviously, and kind of see what their schedules end up being. But looks like we're going to have Beastmen versus Dark Elves. We've seen this one a couple times already. It's definitely an interesting matchup for sure. For sure. Archaon, yes, if you use Slayer of Kings, Cascading Firecloak, and Flaming Sword of Ruin all on himself at the same time, he does go, I think, up to like 1100, and keeping in mind as well that that's 1100 magic fire damage, right, because of Flaming Sword of Ruin, and while Kindle Flame is active, you also get that extra 22% bonus, right, to his damage output, so realistically you're looking at like a 1200 to 1500 per swing damage output when Archaon's all juiced up like that. That being said, Archaon doesn't have the mass to really push through and get you know, connect on his attacks, like, very frequently when he has all of that going. So, yeah, it takes a little bit more setup, but it can be equally as powerful, I would say. Yep. Yeah, exactly. He gets staggered and thrown around a lot. Actually might work better on foot now, since they changed some of the stuff revolving around, like, the getting up. Because I know before, like, Archaon would have a really hard time because he'd get staggered, knocked down, and then he would just, like, take 10 years to get up, right? So because they recently changed that, I think actually Archaon on foot might be a little bit better. I haven't tried him that much since that change, but... Alright, these guys very quickly going to be going on to Game 3, so without further ado, let's go ahead and just get straight loaded in. I like that. I like getting right to the action. Cool. Cool. Okay. And for the Beastmen, we'll start over here. Looks like Takar's got Morgur the Shadow Gave, plus a Bray Shaman Lord of Wild. Couple of Ungor herds with spears and shields, a couple of regular Ungor herds, Blackhorns, Ravagers. We've got Centigors, Ungor Raiders. What's expensive in this army? Minotaurs with shields. We've got 2 Minotaurs with shields. This is just a super wide Beastman build. Oh no, okay, I see Sons of Goros, some Centigors. Yeah, interesting. Just a very kind of well-balanced, wide Beastman build, and it's very, very interesting to see this, yeah, this type of a build. I am a little bit concerned about the lack of terror here. I don't see Butchers of Kalkengard. I don't see... And I guess he's got the Cygor summon for terror, but that's just about it. As for the Dark Elves here, we've got a double dragon build, Malekith, plus another dragon here. We've got Dread Spears, a couple Sisters of Slaughter, and just some Knights. And Cold One Knights, Slaanesha's Harvesters, and 2 Dark Riders with shields for some additional light cavalry support. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm probably not the right person for that question, Iris, to be honest. I'm not as well versed in the lore, certainly as other people are, so I'll abstain from answering that. Other people can answer better than me. I mean, Kolek certainly thinks he's a god. I know that much. He's always screaming about it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they can pull out here. Noob for life. The Dark Elves have not done terribly well so far today, but that's fine. You know, that's what most people would expect. So, here we go. And I hear the sound of readying up. Right off the bat, we've got some Ungors discovered here. Ungor Spearman Herd. Obviously, they're just kind of there to help support the cavalry on that flank if need be. And yeah, Noob for life, just going to kind of be scouting around a little bit. He's obviously got a pretty nice build here with the double dragons. Doesn't have a ton of ranged units, actually no ranged units to speak of, which could potentially be a danger here. But let's see how he starts to play things. Some quick hit and run charges with these Dark Riders with shields, especially with Malekith just like popping down right on top of him. He could honestly have done a bunch of damage to these Black Hordes Ravagers basically for free, and then maybe try to pull out and pull through to like screen those Minotaurs out, but so far, so good. A little bit of a Ungor Raider fire will cost-effectively shoot those Sisters of Slaughter. He did miss his charge bonus here on the Dark Riders, which is a bit tough, but that dragon will come down and immediately start to provide some serious punch. A nice screen here as well with the Dark Riders, or sorry, with the Bleak Swords, screening out those Sons of Goros. So, looks like Slaanesha's Harvesters. Oh man, that's also a bit painful. They get charged by the Centigors there, so missing a couple charges over on the side. Meanwhile, over here, the Dread Spears getting slammed on as expected. The Sisters of Slaughter did look like they were going to get an okay engagement here, but actually got side charged there by the Minotaurs, and yeah, so on. So we'll see. This matchup could definitely go either way, kind of that engagement there in the center. But over on the side, Dark Elves A little bit behind on the balance of power already, as that Sisters of Slaughter has been routed here. These Dread Spears have also been routed. This Black Dragon taking some damage, but a nice Sword of Pain there on the Sons of Goros as they get countercharged by those Cold One Knights. They should be able to take some significant damage there. Likewise, Celestial's Harvesters also taking a ton of damage here and are actually being routed away just through sheer leadership damage. So, yeah. Flying Taco definitely playing all out at this point, and I'm not sure if Malekith's going to be able to get back up in the air here. He did get a pretty decent Soul Stealer. Will do some damage, especially the Minotaurs with shields. That's going to be pretty decent, but getting caught out on the ground like this, the Minotaurs are just fast enough that Malekith has a hard time getting back up in the air without support. So we'll see. I think maybe just getting a little bit, again, spread out here. Needed to play maybe tighter with those two dragons, and it is going to be a pretty quick defeat, it looks like, unfortunately, for Noob for Life. So good showing there. Yeah, Beastmen. Yeah, unfortunately, the Elves just not having enough to stand up to that mad Beast Rush at this point. Malekith's going to come down, get right on top of Morgur there. These, again, just getting these units kind of spread out over on the side, I think you just needed to play a little bit tighter, potentially, there. The double Black Dragon thing can be very good against the Beastmen, but for me, personally, I find that it's generally a bit too much. And the ground monsters can work okay against the Beastmen. I mean, we did see previously how Charybdis / Hydra build just got rolled up super hard by the Beastmen, so yeah, I mean, this is, again, to the Beastmen, people who say Beastmen are weak in multiplayer, we have seen them do very, very strong today, especially against a faction that just recently got, oh, and the Cygor falls, probably did a little bit of fall damage to the dragon, but against the faction which just recently got a DLC as well, which kind of runs counter to the whole, like, paid DLC winning, all that. Over here, Malekith's making his stand, and a really nice Soul Stealer, doing a ton of damage to those Minotaurs. Will probably finish off the one unit there. Looks like not quite. But the Sisters of Slaughter providing a little bit of poison anti-infantry here is also nice for Malekith in this late game. And yeah, despite everything, I mean, there are still these two dragons fighting, right? So despite everything, the Dark Elves still have a fighting chance here if they can keep these two dragons sustained. And the biggest threat right now is this one unit of Minotaurs with shields that's so healthy. This other unit here, I don't know, just in isolation like this with the death by 1,000 cuts sort of type situation, I don't know that they'll do super well there, but Sisters of Slaughter will trade okay against Harpies. Malekith, if he can get back over and support this other dragon here, potentially he could make a run at it, but I don't think so. It looks like, yeah, Sisters of Slaughter and support getting finished off there. This Black Dragon's continuing to fight, did manage to terrify away those Sons of Goros with these little picks of damage from this very cheap spear unit here, and the Centaurs as well, going to continue to try and finish off that dragon. Does look like his leadership's just about to give out, but the Sisters of Slaughter are able to clean up here, so Noob for Life definitely clinging for his life here, and a really nice Gaze of Malice will come in, do a bunch of damage, and probably terrify away those Ungor Herd. If Malekith can get back up in the air here, maybe bring another charge up and around. It does look like he disengages properly there. This second dragon, again, though, still just kind of being left over here to get picked at by these spears. A nice side charge from these Centaurs should be enough to finish off his leadership here. And, oh man, that one Ungor that just got clipped in between and went for a ride there. A rough time for him, but yeah, with the loss of the second Black Dragon, I don't think that Malekith has enough. Yeah. Mark, I would say 1660, you probably want to get something. I have a 1070. That's what I run for my channel. Now, granted, you know, a little bit of a difference there, but I think you should be able to. Iris T, you know, I actually would not define that by MP ranking in terms of, like, the leaderboard whatsoever. Actually, in fact, a sign of a player that's the high level or a player that could be considered skilled or experienced is really just playing in tournaments. And unfortunately, even with some of the recent changes Creative Assembly has made to the ladder system, they still don't, like, it's still not really all that meaningful. You can still kind of cheese it and do some different things, and yeah, it's like to say that like calling players high skilled or you know, high level based on their multiplayer ladder ranking alone, I think is a little bit of a fallacy, just because, again, it's not the most reliable metric. So really what you got to look at is like tournament wins, like just how does a player play in tournaments? How do they play, in just casual games with other players? Like, yeah, it's kind of hard to define, honestly, but well played there. Noob for Life definitely tried his best to take that one out in the late game. I think, honestly, just going with a more mobile build here, like the Sisters of Slaughter ended up doing okay in some certain situations, but I think you just cut all these Dread Spears for more Dark Riders, and then maybe take like the 2 Sisters of Slaughter, or maybe only take 1, and just go even wider with like lots and lots of mobility and numbers, and I think this maybe have worked out a little bit better, but credit to Flying Taco, he played it very well there. Definitely took some heavy losses on those Minotaurs, but it is what it is, so GG's. Fun. Yeah, that's true, Ronan, especially in the campaign, for sure. Awesome, so we're going to go ahead and say farewell to Noob for Life and Sladex. We'll pop you back in here while we're waiting on him. I'm going to go ahead and put back over here. So we had Flying Taco. Where are you, Taco? There you are. Take the victory against Noob for Life. Big thanks again to Noob for Life for participating. Taco's going to be moving on, and here we are for the final of this qualifier. And we're going to be having just a quick little break as we get these guys loaded in. That was a little aggressive, but there we go. Yes. Yes. Fantastic. Just get this in. Okay, and I will be back in just a moment. Let's switch this over here, and we'll go to, nope, not that one, this one. I am on a break. I will be right back with more tournament action. Alright, and I'm back. We're going to pop back over here, get the scoreboards set up. So we've got Flying Taco versus Slate X for the final here. Should be a grand old time. And there we go. Awesome. Got the scoreboard set up, and here we are. Just getting caught up on chat here. Sisters are getting wrecked today. Yes, they are. Not a great day for Sisters of Slaughter. Yep. I don't know that it will... I think it'll stay as a board game style gold, though. I don't know that we'll get necessarily a full globe, but we could potentially get like a theater system like we had in Empires. I don't know if that's super likely, but I don't actually have a Discord, Matthew Calloway. Not at the moment, at least. Yes, the official lore is from the Army books, Iris. So there's the Army books, and then there's all the official books, like the Malice Darkblade series, the Gotrek and Felix series. Even though those aren't Army books, those are still considered canon because they're official Games Workshop releases, right? In addition, you also have the White Dwarf magazine, which again is an official Games Workshop release. And that's where the Vampire Coast actually comes from. They had like a very limited kind of like flavor roster, basically, more or less, that they released in one of the White Dwarf magazine issues. And of course, Games Workshop has all of that on archives, so when they were looking for a new faction, they decided to sort of spin that up into a full-on army. And yeah. No Discord? You know, Matthew, there's just so many Discords already. You know, like Turin's got his, Italian's got his. There's a lot of Total War Warhammer multiplayer Discords. There's like 3 or 4, I think, that I'm a part of. So I get that for sure. If you want to catch me, generally the best place I would say to find people to play with, number one, and to catch me if you do want to try and play with me, is in the Noob Hammer Discord. I can drop a link here in just a moment, or if somebody from the Noob Hammer Discord is watching, you guys can drop a link. If you want to PM it to me on Discord, I can drop it on here. But if we go ahead and have a look, you guys are loading in. But yeah, I've considered it. Maybe sometime in this next year, 2020, we'll get a Discord started up for the Dov fans. But let's have a look at the armies here. Oh man, we've got a wild casket. Grand Hierophant Kotep up on his casket of memes here. We've got a Necrotech, double Necrotech on foot, Skeleton Warriors, plus some spears, as to be expected. So melee Shabti and 2 Tomb Scorpions. So a very heavy front line face rush type build, apart from the one artillery piece, of course. As for the greenskins, we've got goblins here, Night Goblin Warboss with 2 shamans, I believe. Looks like a shaman and an orc shaman, so one of each. We've also got some savage orcs here, unbreakable night gobos, plenty of goblins. It looks like a savage orc biggins as well. So, wow, just a mix of savage orcs, orc biggins, and all the high DPS infantry here. I'm genuinely curious to see how this does. I mean, the savage orcs I'm not the biggest fan of. Only 16 melee defense, and not the best, not the best stats overall. Besides that frenzy, but obviously the orc biggins plus the savage orc biggins, these guys are all heavy hitters with that anti-large bonus, and should be interesting. Of course, he's got his trolls here, signature trolls. Night Goblin War Boss, also an interesting pick here. I like the Tormentor Sword, and also got Wa, of course, and then some light cavalry to round things out. Yeah, Noob Hammer's a good one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is fair, Nickel. The army books take precedent, but I mean those books are still technically canon, I would say. And that is true, FGA. Like if Game 1 hadn't have been the smashing runaway success that it was, I don't know that we would have even got something like Vampire Coast. But yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's been amazing to experience this game, and it really has been an experience, right? Because this game has grown and changed so much over time. You know, even from when we from when the game first released in Game 1. I mean, just so many factions, and it's been a journey in and of itself, right? Like, the game evolving has been an experience in and of itself, so very interesting. Slade going to be pushing up across the line here. It doesn't look like Kotep used his thing quite yet, but he certainly can as soon as he wants to. These Mangy Marauders going to have to be a little bit careful here. They don't get taken out by those carrion, but oh man, what was that? Was that a Brainburster from that far away on the Skeleton Spearman there? I didn't realize Brainburster had that ridiculously of a long range, but that's pretty cool. Getting some nice damage done at a distance there. And yeah, it does look like those carrion going to drop down, get on those Mangy Marauders. The Mangy Marauders only have 19 melee defense, and the 40 weapon strength of the carrion's actually a little bit of a problem there, so they don't necessarily want to just sit and take that fight. But yeah, I don't know, I think Slade's actually got a pretty decent build here. The Kepler Guard are going to be a bit of a problem. That anti-infantry magic damage plus regeneration is a hard counter for Savage Orc Biggins, and just the Orc infantry in general here is going to struggle against them, but we'll see. We'll see what tricks Slade has up his sleeve. So far, the the casket is raining bones all over everything, and everyone is happy about it. Hopefully. Expect Wa to be popped here relatively soon, though. I don't know if it's been canceled quite yet. I haven't seen any spells pop off for Kotep, but nice little burst there. Ooh, really good damage connecting, and here comes the walk. Kotep not stopping it on the initial approach, which is definitely a pretty big mistake here. A nice Brainburster as well. Actually staggers those Ushabti as they get charged there, and the Savage Orcs are able to come in and just mop up that unit of Skeleton Spears, no problem. A massive melee engagement here. Kotep desperately trying to use that Incantation of Desiccation, and the Skullstorm, of course, to do some AoE damage here, but those Savage Orc Biggins coming in and mopping up hard. Those Ushabti taking some damage, but the Savage Biggins also taking damage in return there, so I like that Incantation of Desiccation. That was very well placed. Orc units getting up and around the back line here. These other Greenskins units here, the Gobos, just kind of chilling for the time being. But yeah, that Greenskin's front line starting to run out of steam a little bit, and I said these are heavy hitters. They are hitting pretty heavy, but that Incantation of Desiccation was very, very well placed, and that is going to lead to a little bit of a loss here in the front line by those Biggins, which is just really, really tough. That this Orc Warboss probably needed to come in and drop that Tormentor Sword, at least for the melee attack debuff, a little bit sooner. But let's see where that tight little cluster goes. Did some decent damage, but looks like the rear guard here, this ambush force advancing. That being said, Kotep takes another massive hit there from the Zappa. This Night Gobbo Shaman is a very, very important character here at this junction. Needs to get those zaps and make sure he finishes off Kotep. That being said, the Greenskins are going to run into some general leadership issues, as a lot of these units are still quite healthy here in the center. That initial rush definitely didn't do as much damage as I would have liked to have seen, and those Kepler Guard obviously playing a big role in that there. Looks like, yeah, the Spider Riders and the Trolls here not holding their leadership together super great. That being said, Kotep has slowly trickled himself back some healing through successive spells, so he can kind of stand a little bit longer here. It does look like the Ushabti is something that's going to be used as well on these Night Gobbos. The Unbreakable Night Gobbos here, who otherwise had been just about completely healthy, but the Mangy Marauders here, Rusty Airs, getting a little bit of crossfire in on those Ushabti. They are going to make contact there, unfortunately. I'm not really sure where this Night Gobbo Warboss is off to either. He's just kind of running out towards the edge of the map there. But Trolls pulling away here so they can do a little bit of regeneration, just allowing these Gobbos and other units to fight in here. That's a pretty smart idea. Likewise, these Trolls here with their regen, now that they've got some health, they've got a few units kind of in a supporting position here, can come back, try and get on that Tomb Scorpion and potentially take it down here. So a nice little side charge. The Trolls, obviously their leadership is very, very poor, so I wouldn't expect them to hold up for overly long here, but yeah, may have wanted to wait just a little bit longer to get that big in support. Over here, though, you can see this unit of Ushabti has been able to take out the Rusty Airs, but also has been taken out by the Mangy Marauders, so definitely some give and take in that situation there. But yeah, Kotep starting to pull ahead a little bit on the balance of power, as he himself is getting crumped on by the little Gobbo Warboss here. Does have some Ushabti for some protection, and these King Nakesh's Scorpion Legion, of course, going to be very important as well. Yeah, the Night Gobbo Warboss doesn't want to stay and fight in that situation for too long, but just keeping up the pressure on Kotep is going to be very important. If Slade wants to try and stay in this game, he needs to take out the leadership for the Tomb Kings, and a great isolation engagement here, able to potentially finish off this unit of Ushabti. Is trapped up against Savage Orcs and Biggins. A rear charge from the Mangy Marauders, and that actually might finish that unit off, so Slade definitely not out of this by any means. He's getting a few good different isolation situations here. Again, these Trolls getting some good support here. Unfortunately, those Biggins do get terrified there, but they have done some damage at least to that Tomb Scorpion. Those two Necrotechs are definitely a big problem, but more magic damage over here as the trolls rout away. Let's see if Kotep can keep himself together. A nice little shot there, dunking right on those Unbreakable Night Gobos. The Ushabti here just went down, though, so these units can now try and, again, just keep seeking out those isolations everywhere they can. But the Gobo's going to have to be careful. He's coming in. Doesn't look like he's got the Tomb Scorpion spotted. Oop, just barely pulls away there. Doesn't actually get tagged by any of them. I don't know where that Tormentor Sword is at in terms of its cooldown timer either, but the Kotep at this point is the fact that he's managed to keep himself alive is very critical because he can continue just dumping those shots, those dunks as they are. And oh man, please just run straight through this Kepler Guard. Oh man, it doesn't look like it just barely makes contact with the end of the unit there. Might have taken down a handful of them, but could have been a lot better. Yeah, and at this point, I don't think that Slade necessarily has what it takes to come back, unfortunately. It does look like things are looking a little rough here. Some connection issues, potentially. Oh, come on. We've gone this whole time without any connection issues. Don't do this to me now. No. No. Come on, stabilize. I believe. Uh-oh. Oh, and Taco gets dropped. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, Taco was pretty far ahead on that one. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he actually dropped out of the lobby. The game might have crashed or something, but I think Taco had that one pretty much on wrap. I mean, we can talk to these guys, but I'm pretty comfortable with giving Taco a win on that one. Looks like Slade will go ahead and admit defeat there, since that was pretty far out of favor for him. Let's check in, though. Here. All right. So yeah, Slade's happy giving that one to Flying Taco. We'll go ahead and update the scoreboard then. Give him the win. Excellent win. That's an interesting one. The casket, I think, is balanced. I do think you should only ever bring one right now, but I do think that bringing one is a good idea. Now, personally, I would say Kotep on the casket, as we saw there, can be very vulnerable, but he also can be a bit of a distraction piece as well, right? Similar to like Helmengorst on his cart, or something like that. Like your opponent is going to have to dedicate resources to taking him down, but at the same time, you can kind of use that to force your enemy to try and make mistakes, potentially. So, yeah, fun. Okay, and here, go ahead and pop this back on for you guys. Okay, looks like Taco's hopping back on. Had a little minor internet issue. Let's see here. Cool. Yep, it's good there. Maybe if he was a person instead of a taco, he wouldn't have dropped. That's a good point. Yep, all good. Happens, technical issues, you know, these things are prone to happening from time to time. Whoops, not that. Go ahead and take a look over here. You can see we are on the final four. Whoops, not week 2. It should be week 3. Silly me this whole time. Week 3, qualifier number 3, Flying Taco currently up 1-0 over Slade X. Let's see who takes home the bacon. And it looks like Turin is also going with his tournament. Only has about 10 times people in number of that's watching me, but that's all good. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, hopefully, I'm sure some of you are flipping back and forth between the two, no doubt. Or have both, you know, open on different windows or something like that. But excuse me. Okay, and here we are. And we are there. Thanks, Iris. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's Turin's a great guy. I appreciate him a lot. He's done a lot for my channel. Like, it definitely wouldn't be nearly close to the size that it is right now without Turin. So big props to him. And after this is finished, I'm definitely going to be tuning in to catch the rest of the ECL qualifier as well. So you guys can join me in lurking in that chat later on. Support what we like. Hey, I like that, Iris. I like that. No Discord. Not for the time being, Matthew. Maybe, yeah, check back with me in a couple weeks when I've had time to kind of get one set up and, you know, figure out exactly how I would want it to be structured. And maybe in the future. Content is too good? Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I do think that one cool thing about Discord is you can have like a patron / channel member like exclusive area, like that, where channel members and patrons can talk to me kind of more, not necessarily one-on-one, but in more of like a private chat. That could potentially be something that we'd look at for the Discord. Of course, just having places to play and play games, find people to play games with, post replays for me to cast, stuff like that. Yeah, I could see some merit in that. Certainly helped me in a few ways, but like I said, I already have quite a few Discords that I hang around in, so that new Warhammer one, definitely a good one. Heir of Carthage's, of course Turin and Italians. Wouldn't want to forget about them. Okay, looks like we're going to have a Norska mirror, so I guess there's only one map then. Yeah, Troll Country it is. We're going to have Norska versus Norska in a mirror on Troll Country. How about that, huh? Oh, what a wild time. What a wild time. Expecting this to be another quick game. Okay. That's good. Fighting for the right to marry the troll. There we go. There we go. Something like that. And just getting some things filled out here. Whoops, looks like I accidentally screwed something up with this. That's fine. No big deal. And You know what, actually, let's just do this. I'll just figure that out later. That's not important. These guys are ready to go, so let's get to it. Get loaded back over, and yes, it's going to be a Norska mirror. So, on Troll Country, Norska versus Norska. Always a wild time when you get these two. I get these two. This one faction fighting itself. Yeah, a lot of Norska today, so hopefully you guys who don't get enough Norska action... I was recently organizing some of my videos into playlists, which you guys may have seen. Faction-specific playlists, and I realized that I don't actually post that many Norska games. Like, there are certain factions I just don't post as often. Norska's one of those factions for whatever reason, which is actually too bad, because I really like playing them. But anyway, let's have a look here for the blue team. Norska, Flying Taco, got some Warhounds and Beasts of Tashnar, and Ice Trolls. 3 units of Ice Trolls, 2 units of Skin Wolves. He's got Javs, Hunter Javs, some Berserkers, and some Spearmen, with a Shaman Sorcerer Lore of Fire, and Throg, of course. For the red team, we've also got Throg, with Lore of Metal, Shaman Sorcerer Lore of Metal. We've got Marauders here, we've got Javs, and we've got more of a mobile build with some Horsemen and regular Trolls instead of Ice Trolls. Wow. There's so much trolling going on in this game, guys. I can't take it. Can't take it. Troll on troll action in Troll Country. Who would have thought? Indeed. Oh, man. And that sword actually looks pretty nice. I would take that. You could get it. Are you alright, sir? Do you have something to say? He sounds like he's going to throw up. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, man. That's so ridiculous. The Norskan Shamans have to be one of the silliest characters in the game. And here we go, off to the races once again. Taking it to Pound Town. Marauder Berserkers backed up by the Ice Trolls. Let's see, I do think that the more melee-oriented build of Taco has a slight advantage here, but I will be curious to see how Slade capitalizes on his ranged advantage here. These champions, oh, these are actually champions in the front line. Okay, let's see how they trade against these Berserkers here. They are just going to charge straight in. I'd imagine the Berserkers would do okay on the charge, but it actually looks like they lose out there pretty badly, so that's kind of surprising. And the Javelins also coming in now. See how the Javelins do against the Trolls. Both sides, Javelins against Trolls, doing well, and yeah. The clash of Ice Trolls versus Ice Trolls, no one knows what's going on. Marauders just beating the brakes off of each other. Some of them have spears for some reason out here on this flank. I don't know if that will help a whole lot, but yeah, looks like we have a boat, or sorry, a Flaming Sword of Ruin going off. Yeah, not even Flaming Sword, Flaming Skull, rather, going off there. It'll do some okay damage to some of those infantry units, especially the champions there, and actually gets in and does some nice friendly roasting of everyone involved in that combat. So everyone wins. Literally both sides are just going to rout, and it looks like only the champions are managed to hold their ground there. But it looks to me like Slade's force is actually winning pretty handily in a lot of different matchups. I think the pick of the champions over the Berserkers was a really nice kind of a counterintuitive pick here. But at the same time, these Skin Wolves are running rampant over on the far side. These Horsemen getting run down by Warhounds as well. So definitely a bit of give and take on both sides. But let's see here, an upgraded Final Transmutation to try and help finish off these Skin Wolves here. We've also got these Ice Trolls fighting for Flying Taco, so a very nice Final Transmutation there. But Throg, Red Throg, is getting pounded by Blue Throg here, and just by RNG is losing out pretty badly here. You can see there's pretty much purely based on RNG, but that Final Transmutation, he was able to get a pretty good break off a lot of these units here, and if he can keep up the pressure, like with these Marauder Horsemen, keep them broken, Slade is probably going to be able to take this game out. Looking like he's doing quite well, and no one out-trolls the Slade, although, of course, as soon as I say that, his Throg actually gets routed off by some mass Javelins there. And likewise, Flying Taco does have these Warhounds able to get out here and get in the periphery and start chasing away some of those regenerating troll units, which of course is going to be very, very key. But we'll see. We still got this Metal Sorcerer here, a Fireball being thrown all the way across the field, and some more Javelins. A Witch Throg will go down first. That did good amount of damage to him. Didn't quite put him in the space to be shattered. But the Horseman leading those hounds off on a wild goose chase there. We've got some more trolls coming back from out here. More trolls coming back from out here. More trolls coming back over here. So we'll see. Slade desperately trying to keep himself in this fight. It does look like Flying Taco's been able to pull himself back somewhat with that nice javelin play there. But Throg is back. Red Throg is back with his leadership at least. So he's going to sit there and continue to regenerate and try and stabilize things a little bit here. These champions also just fighting tooth and nail. Absolute just die hard here. The non-ice trolls coming in, getting some good hits on the ice trolls with the Overwatch fire there from those javelins. I think that should be enough to maybe win out on that engagement. Maybe not, though. The other javelins are returning fire quite nicely on those horsemen. It looks like, yeah, Flying Taco coming in for the finishing blow here, as he does have 2 units of ice trolls still around, and it does look like Slade going to admit defeat there, so... yeah. Ice trolls, I want to say, have 50 armor, and I think regular trolls have either 20 or 30, so they are a little bit better in that way. Besides just the frostbite, but yeah, wild time. Oh man, that's just a lot. That's a lot. Oh, that was amazing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. I know not everyone likes the Monster Mash games, but come on, you gotta enjoy that. You gotta admit that's pretty cool. Oh, man. So let's take it home here. And for the last one, we're going to do... You know what? Let's bring it home, boys. We're going to go for Stallion Tomb for the last map. Or potentially the last map. Slade could certainly stage a comeback here. This is a best of 5, of course. Slade goes Beastman with no ban, so we're going to be having one more wild, just all-out build here. Hopefully we get more than one more, but regardless, we'll be getting at the very least one more. Switch back on over to here. Update the scoreboard once again. Flying Taco taking another win here. Definitely a man on a mission today. The mystery competitor, who would have thought that he would have come in and taken this tournament, put it on his back, carried it all the way home just about. This is it. If Taco can take this game, he's got his place secured in the South Sea Mercenary League Grand Final. Looks like he picks the Warriors of Chaos in response to the Beastmen, so we've seen all of these factions quite a bit today. Not too much Empire or Bretonia or, other factions, but definitely a lot of the heads-up style, very rush-oriented, chaotic factions, which certainly is a lot of fun. Like I said, not everyone likes the Monster Mash, just very straightforward rush-style games, but we've certainly seen a lot of really interesting plays here. That Star Crusher plus, what was it? Star Crusher plus Occam's Mind Razor has to be one of my favorite combos I've seen recently. Like, that was so good. And, yeah, we've seen a lot of really great plays all around, so fun. Hey, thanks, FGA, much appreciated, man. Yeah, whether you choose to support me here on YouTube by becoming a channel member, whether you choose to support on Patreon, or whether you just watch, like, and subscribe and comment, I mean, any of that I'm more than happy with, so thank you so much. Very, very generous. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Honestly, I do this, even if I made zero money whatsoever, I would be doing this still because I love it. So the fact that you guys find enough value in it to actually give me a little bit back, I mean, that just makes me feel so good. So thank you. Awesome. And I'm going to try and make live streaming a lot more consistent. That was kind of one of my goals for 2019 that I didn't accomplish as well as I would have liked. We each year, kind of as my channel's been growing, I've set a new goal for myself, and I had 2 goals for this year. One of my goals was to get to 10,000 subscribers, and we're there. I mean, we're right there, right? Like, if I go ahead and take a look here at my channel analytics here on YouTube, I mean, we are literally 30 subscribers away from hitting that 10,000 subscriber mark. So, right on the money on that goal. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stream as much as I would have liked, and, you know, a lot of that's on me. But going forward in 2020, I want to make streaming every weekend as much as I can a priority for you guys, because you know, don't get me wrong, I love producing the videos postcast style, recording them, responding to your comments in that way, but interacting live is so cool. So, as to Matthew, a couple reasons why. Number one is YouTube doesn't ever delete my VODs. Like with Twitch, they'll delete the video on demand of your stream after a certain amount of time. I forget, unless, like, you have to do specific things to be able to save it as, like, a video on Twitch. So that's one of the reasons. The secondary reason is just that my community is here on YouTube. Like, the Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer community, for whatever reason, seems to do a lot better on YouTube than on something like Twitch. There aren't that many really large multiplayer content creators on Twitch. At least anymore. There used to be some, but they have all since stopped, so, yeah. Exactly, Iris, exactly. It's like going to a concert. 100% great comparison there. But here we go. We are now on Game 3 between Flying Taco and SladeX. Whoops, bumped the microphone a little bit there. And we're on a Stallion Tomb now. Beastmen versus Warriors of Chaos for one final, potentially final chaotic showdown. If SladeX can pull out the win here, then he gets to go on to the grand final. Flying Taco, though, has a chance to claw his way in as the unknown challenger. So let's take a look at builds here. So, starting at the top, we've got Archaon the Ever-Chosen. Looks like some Marauder Horse Masters. Very good choice here. Some Chaos Poison Warhounds as well. We've got a couple of spawn, one of which, no weird spawn. Interesting. We've got some Warriors, Marauders, Mirror Guard in the center. Relatively well-balanced Chaos build. And, yeah, just kind of straightforward. For the Beastmen here, we've got Ungor Spearman Herd. We've got some Bestigor Herd as well. Looks like a Giant, double Giant. Morgr the Shadowgave here, Brave Shaman Lore of Wild. Looks like a couple of Razorgore Herd. And some Centaurs with Gory Weapons with some Poison Hounds. Yeah, the Chaos armor advantage is pretty real here, but likewise the Beastman's speed advantage is one thing that they have to use, you know, in order to win in this matchup. And I mean, granted, 2 Giants isn't really much of a speed advantage, it's more of a beat stick advantage, but it's an interesting matchup, certainly. Personally, just from my own personal playstyle, I think I like the Beastman a little bit better right now. Yeah, they'll have to cut off the snake's head. That's true. Archaon's going to be a tough nut to crack, absolutely, in this one. The Giants can put a beating on him, but we'll see. With these Marauder Horse Masters, they have a decent enough amount of ammo to be able to kind of pick away at these Giants and kind of zone them a little bit here, so that as these Beastmen infantry advance, you know, he could potentially get like a good counter charge in here and get on these Bestigor and do a bunch of shock damage, like before the supporting units are really in a position to support, right? So he has to be careful. SladeX just needs to be a little bit careful with these Bestigor herd more than anything, I would say. But we do have some hounds sweeping up and around the side here. Stallion Tomb is a pretty small map, so although Flying Taco wants to try and kite a little bit here and get some value, he can't kite too much. And oh man, I don't know if those Bestigor herd or these Razorgore herd actually had the charge order on the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth there, but a great little rear charge here from those Poison Warhounds will set those Razorgore herd into an enrage there. Likewise, Archaon's coming in, dropping a Piercing Bolts of Burning, it looks like, and oh man, Slade needs to really not get too blobbed up around this. That Piercing Bolts of Burning is just going to absolutely delete whatever is underneath it. Actually does a little bit of friendly fire to Archaon himself, but quite a bit of damage done in there. You can see Morgr the Shadowgave punching immediately through to the back line. Those Bestigor herd actually not trading amazingly well versus the Mirror Guard, which does surprise me a little bit there, but at the same time, with Morgr now supporting, they should be able to start to bring that fight back. And look at Archaon here. Although he got that initial great engagement, this summoned Cygor is a big problem. He's surrounded by Bestigor at this point. The Razorgore herds and the Centaur are also coming in and preventing him from disengaging from this spot here. So a pretty bad situation for Archaon. Let's see what he can do. He's going to bring in some of those Chaos Spawn to try and bail himself out there, and that is a pretty strong play. Meanwhile, over on this side here, the Shaggoth getting tangled up with a Giant and some Marauders. It's an interesting kind of play back and forth there. We'll see. No one looks like to be taking a decisive advantage yet, but over here you can see the Bestigor have been dealt with. As mentioned, that could potentially be a big game-changing game-changing moment here, but a really nice Vile Tide doing some good damage to those Chaos Warriors and the spawn here. The second unit of Vestigor, again, not doing great, but they're still holding for the time being, and they've been able to get in and get some damage done at the very least. Summoned Spawn fighting non-summoned Spawn. This is a fantastic engagement for the Beastmen. In terms of cost value, that poison especially will make the Beastman spawn just that much a little bit better in a direct head-to-head fight. So this is what we've all been waiting for, guys. This is what this entire, qualifier up until this point has been leading to, is the Beastman spawn fighting the Warriors of Chaos spawn. Oh man, I love it. I love it so much. Over here, we've got Cascading Fire Cloak, looks like on Archaon himself, of course, get that little bit of extra armor-piercing damage. A nice rear charge, though, from those Centaurs with great weapons. They're going to come in here, get some good armor-piercing hits in. Those Marauders, of course, don't really lack the armor-piercing won't really matter too much there, but these two Giants being so healthy is a problem, for sure. Morker is still very healthy as well, and the Warriors of Chaos, I mean, they've been able to do a lot of damage, certainly, but they are taking a lot of attrition damage as well. Kind of over time here. This is a pretty good situation, though, for the Warriors. They've got this one dragon isolated by the Shaggoth and the spawn here, plus Archaon kind of all in a nice supporting situation. For Sladex, probably needs to try and get this little death blob and roll it over to this other giant. That being said, his summoned spawn are starting to run out a little bit here, and that can work against him pretty heavily in the late game, but this engagement's going to be a lot of RNG. If the Giant gets good RNG and just beats down the Shaggoth here, that's really bad for the Warriors of Chaos, but likewise, he is going to be taking hits from those Chaos spawn, and that 160 weapon strength is definitely no slouch, certainly, so that Giant looks like he's going to get taken down there, but still just dead even, just about on the balance of power, if not slightly in the Beastman's favor. Again, a lot of that is because of this summoned unit of spawn here, but let's see, this Shaggoth just diving straight into the secondary engagement here. A big side hit from that Giant here will do a ton of HP damage, and this secondary Giant being so healthy, I don't know that the Warriors of Chaos really have enough to take this thing down in the late game, but the spawn getting a little bit in the way here, kind of just supporting that engagement. We do have a handful of Marauder Horsemasters still with some ammo, and it does look like they're able to kind of clean up this mobility engagement a little bit here. These Chaos Warhounds can still come in and pressure somewhat, but looks like another Piercing Bolts of Burning. I'm not sure who that did more damage to, but it's Chaos, right? So it's all good at the end of the day. For me, though, I think once the Beastman summon spawn wear away, he is going to run into a little bit of problems here, potentially. I mean, Morger's still very healthy. The fact that this other Beastman, they can kind of sit and fight together. But, oh man, here comes another Cygor summon in the late game. This is potentially going to be massively backbreaking as the another huge, armor-piercing, terror-causing monster is summoned up onto the field here. That's going to give a huge balance of power spike. And will Sladex, is this the start of his comeback here? Definitely looks like he's got a pretty commanding position on this game after that Cygor summon. Morker still being completely healthy as well. Archaon, you can see, just not able to come in here and get in on this engagement because of all of this monster mashing here. Standard Eye going to be popped for that extra melee defense. And again, the Cascading Fire Cloak as well. So the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth up to 99 melee defense. But he does get in a situation where he's actually going to get surrounded here by the Cygor, by the Giant. Will they be getting enough attacks to actually finish off his leadership? And, oh, the Fireball comes in. It's not quite enough. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth got an XP Chevron on 38 kills, but does lose out on its leadership there, and actually goes down, just gets KO'd by the summoned Cygor there. That being said, this Brave Shaman Lord of Wild did get terrified briefly while that Shaggoth is still alive, but getting rid of that terror unit is so critical for the Beastmen. That being said, these Marauder Horsemen, the Javs here, the Horsemasters, they're doing a pretty decent amount of poke on this Giant here. So will these spawn actually be enough to hold this Giant down in the late game? Such a close game here. Both players just absolutely slugging teeth and just, shoving each other's faces into the mud. No quarter asked or given, but I do think this concave here of the Horsemasters with the Fireball able to finish off the Giant here, and I think, yep, Sladex gonna admit a worthy defeat there, and holy cow, that was a great way to finish things off. A little bit tough to have all 3 O's, but that's just kind of how things go sometimes. Definitely the games themselves were very close. So, yeah, how about that? Beastman spawn fighting Warriors of Chaos spawn, and the summon spawn lost. How about that, huh? Yeah, it's more about the hitbox of the target. That's true. That is a good point, but very well played. Excellent job all around. That was super fun. That was awesome, man. I've got a huge smile on my face from those games. That was super, super fun. So thank you all once again for joining. If we go ahead and have a look at the final breakdown of the bracket here, Flying Taco takes the win 3-0. So the secret challenger is actually the one to move on, claim the Paymaster's bounty, and get his chance to compete in the grand final. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and back out here. And yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys, the viewers, you're ultimately the reason that we're doing this, right? All of us are doing this. I mean, we're doing it because we enjoy it, but you guys are the ones that make this all possible. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for liking, you know, commenting, subscribing, thumbs upping, all of the YouTube shenanigan things that I'm supposed to say at the end of a video or a stream. So yeah, thanks again. Shout out to patrons and channel members. We had Hydrofronts chilling around. Of course, we've got like Anti-Mage as well, Tam and 10. I know I'm forgetting some from the Patreon as well. My apologies, guys. Thank you all once again. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to tune in Wednesday for some King of the Hill action celebrating the new year. Likewise, Saturday will be more Reponse, and Sunday will be the number 4 qualifier for the South Sea Mercenary League. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.